The next person we'll be interviewing is the founder of the Afro-Caribbean Center of Central Alberta, named Zainab.
My name is Zainab. I'm Somali Canadian and African Canadians, I guess. And yeah, I have been right there over 26 years. And first time when I moved to Canada, I was in Toronto. And Toronto is like a diverse, right? So you never really felt you had like a immigrant or outsider or different, right? Because it's like very much it's a diverse communities, right? And what I like about Toronto is like that every week, especially summertime, you have different group, different festivals, different thing happening. So you're always surrounding so many different cultural activities, which is I really like that. I mean, the culture aspect of it too, and also the food and everything, right? So moving to Red Deer, moving to Alberta, actually decided to one day is like I want to quit my job. I want to relocate, and the best place for me at the time was like Alberta. So when I moved to Calgary, and I was living there for 3 years. And those 3 years, I opened my own daycare, and having the daycare. Actually, I did Toronto for my high school, but then I worked for a while, and then I was like, okay, moved to Alberta, relocate, and then I was like, started working with retail, but then I knew I am good. I like sales, but same time, it's like I really also want to help people, and sales is like a little bit tricky because like, do I want to really sell to people more? And then you think about the ethical aspect of it, but it's where I want to see where I can help people without per se money involved, I guess at that time. So I decided to open my day home, and part of my day home I discovered was most of my day home were single mothers, and I see those single mothers really work so hard and still have struggles, and think like, okay, how I can really help. So when you have a day home, you are really also busy in day home. You don't have really freedom to leave, to be able to to help them with resources and stuff. So that's what really inspired me to become a social work. And part of my social work, I kind of searching like where I want to do like two years diploma and then work as a social work. But at the Calgary, the time if you go to UFC, you have to do 4 years degree, and I didn't want to do that. So Red Deer was the option to do at that time was a RDB. Was a Red Deer College. So I applied, I got accepted, and 2010 I moved to Red Deer. And my plan was like, oh, I want to live here for 2 years and get my daycare. My diploma, move back to Calgary, but never happened. I got to know the community. I thought, wow, this really good size for me. And I right away, my practicum hired me, and then I worked for 3 years. Those 3 years I was able to actually do a lot of fundraising with the Canadian breast cancer, part of my job. And then I was like, okay, I realized, you know, kids, now I have my high school in Canada, I have my social work diploma in Canada, but then I realized that back home in Somalia, whereas like there's so many kids because most of the schools are private, so there a lot of kids kind of especially if you're a girl and the family have like maybe a lot of kids and they only send the boys because they think sometimes the girls get married so young they don't really see the investment too, and they were like, oh, the man, and because normally it's the culture wise it's like man's a provider for family and too. So in that sense I want to change this to see at least that the girls delay a little bit marriage to be able to go to school, and they decided to get married, or if they want to further the education at least they have the option for themselves, not for somebody deciding for their behalf, right? Too. So in that sense I say, okay, I want to build school, and you also, if you say, oh, I want to build school, small communities, a little bit challenge, because then now you will push back the communities. So I was like, okay, we'll make it more diverse for them, so the boys also that family has doesn't have income can go too. So then I said, it's a Somali boys and girls educations school. So we was able to raise money. We started actually right there. We did a big festival, big gala at the time, and a lot of my previous teachers, former teachers, my classmates, everybody community help out. And then I was able to go to Toronto, Boston, Minnesota, Ohio, Columbus, where we have a lot of Somali communities. And then within a year, we were able to raise enough money to build the school. And literally, I went back home to oversee the school. And there's like small community, like almost 40 people live in that community, oversee the project every morning till start from the ground up to the finish. And I came back when we have the ground opening. And 10 years we were supporting every year to pay the schools and everything. And just last year, we just government now will be able to funding the program to pay the teachers. So we just dissolve the organization, and now my focus is to, since I find African Caribbean Center, to focus for that. This is like a little bit hard to stretch two organizations, international and also local. So it's like, okay, international now project is running smoothly, so I can just focus here because there's a lot of needs that need to be done. And started also African Caribbean organization. I realized as a social work, a lot of people were like, hey, why don't you start something here in the communities? Because we also seeing that people moving here out from going to Calgary, Edmonton, because they don't really have resources that help them to stay in the community. So in that sense, I started the African Caribbean Society, the organization that we can help the communities with employment, with the youth programs, with the environmental programs, and then also now with the festival. It's going to be this year 3 years, and this stories, Untold stories, that we are doing at the moment too. And today was also really exciting to open the thrift store as well too. And who knows what the sky the limit, and but also for us to like really community feel like their culture be celebrated, they'll be able to get the resources they need and grow the organizations where everybody can be proud themselves and easy to integrate to the communities. And yeah, so when I actually that's the when I we start when I come to AD came about, I talked to my current board at the time with Somali indications, and they were all social workers. So I was like, hey, we want to start an organization, and it's gonna be African. And first was actually African. I want to do African Center, but then we realized that there's no also there's a lot of also Caribbean here. They don't have organizations, so it's like okay, because right there's a good size to combine the both. So it's like okay, well, we do both African and Caribbean organizations. And my vision is also to we can provide resources, but same time I feel like if we don't also have in the cultural aspect, it's hard to really people feel that belonging to come together. So when I talk to my board, I say to them, let's we start organization, and then they okay like okay, and then sometimes like we gonna do events, and this events is gonna be whatever comes out. We have an office, and then I can reduce my job and then work 3 days and work 2 days. So those 2 days I was planning. That could have been it was planned actually last year, 2023. So January when comes, we can rent a place for 6 months, and then 6 months I will be work 2 days and then work my my previous job for 3 days to plan for the festival. So then, and then we actually successfully done the event 2022 and we raised enough money to be able to open the first office. So it's like a little small office. So we started with that, and then within that within actually a few months I decided I want to do full time because doing big festival where 2 days not really NFM, but also we want to do program. And then even though we have small offices, we be able to do employment program, but then also if we doing like summer program, we could utilize other facility in the communities too. So the first festival was successful 2023, and then last year we did the 2024 the events. So then with the opportunity actually was coming about this place I used to work when I used to be a Kiowa, Central Alberta Migrant Women Association, and it was I think it was available since after the It was available since they moved 4 years ago. And just last year, I think, yeah, end of 2023, they put it in the market, was rented. So it was just a fate. I was like, I wanted this place. And we came to talk to the landlord and say, hey, please give us this place and we will rent out some offices. So he accepted everything and helped us to give us a good price for first few months. And then since that, we never look back because we see the potential, this place. So we have a lot of people living downtown, so easy walking, and there's good exposure for us too. And since that, we never look back. We just been growing with that, and then added to uh, youth leadership programs. We did also the last 2 years. Also, we did the environmental program for youth and kids, and then we have to implement thanks to United Way, and then we do also a lot of small events with downtown and other things too. And then last year I was like, okay, I always my dreams to have a coffee shop because my family used to have a coffee shop and I used to help them after school. So when this opportunity came about, I applied the grants, everything's of the business loans and everything come together. And then the allocation was actually the reasonable price too. And I was like, oh, I want to take it. But mainly was really also helping a lot of newcomers to be able to work with us. But then when we started, we hired newcomers, but then we realized that the customer were getting frustrated because their language challenges. And then I was like, okay, how we can make it help them to environment where it will be less uh, customer will be more patient with them and it's like less demanding of them. And then that's when the 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 thrift store born the ideas because we have a space like okay, why don't we have the thrift store actually apply with United Way, and because we be funding before with our employment, so we include part of the employment, so we will have the startup and hire somebody for 60 days, once a week to help them with the resume, the cover letter, everything too, and then help them to train. So now we have full-time people running like six people running full-time volunteer and learning the languages and able to learning firsthand the Canadian experience, retail, and then we can help them with connect with when they're ready, connect with employer that hired them too. So and they're also helping the organization, helping the community. So yeah, and then there's a huge opportunity we can expand that to different location. And then the other aspect too, we include a rent option. So because we have staff, because we do events throughout the year, so those staff we own them, we can rent out other organizations that who can afford it to go expensive rental companies to be able to rent, utilize what they have. So kind of win-win situation. Yeah. The branding of the organization really important because people have to can be related to. So when somebody told me like, oh, there's African Caribbean, I can see myself. There's something for me, or if I have an issue, that's the place I go to, right? So in that sense, identity wise, that give that person feel that belonging. In sense also to when come to funding, it's like why your organizations, what area focus, right? Because then also we creating something that's not something lacking in the communities, right? So we're not duplicating, because what happens when you have organization, that organization how to fulfill needs, and those needs is happen to be the African Caribbean community who doesn't have organization existed within Central Alberta, even right there, right? And the community also growing, and we also witness that people, because they don't have so many other organizations maybe could help them, but they don't see themselves, right? The other things we've also actually was a lot of research done in the U.S. When they see people who look like them, they tend to broach them. It's making them feel like okay, Also too, when also somebody look like them, they do something like, oh, I can relate to that person, right? So it's a research that even the indigenous actually model they use too is like the indigenous to provide their services. So more indigenous people will be able to utilize that service per se. And same I think too actually done in US and a lot of research done too. Like that's also kind of way behind that. And I think now we see a lot in Toronto using that. And when I was doing some of my grant proposal, some research actually I done was like they see the correlation people to get help. They easy to approach people that they feel they look like them, or, or easy to them to broach their problems with them too. So it's a lot of advantage to that for perspective of the client who need our services. It's a really good fit, and also we getting was like really now with school different groups reaching out to us because we're becoming that central hub for culture, right? So if somebody think about, oh, I want to do something with African or Caribbean, then, oh, you have the both, so you get the both side of the world too. So it has been really positive. Within the African Caribbean community, also the Central Alberta communities at large, too. Yes. For me, I guess it's like in sense like I'm always like somebody who like I vision things, right? But same time, if you told me 10 years ago, I would like, I was happy with where I was, like just focusing on my own things. But then I realized as you grow, as you, like, especially I have like maybe, I mean, because of my education background with social work, with sociology, all those things really takes you, things about not only because 20 years ago, if you told me, I was like, no, I'm only happy where I am. I'm just focused on me, right? There was only me things, right? But I realized it also, I think, in my upbringing, whereas like that my parents was always the communities and societies. I felt it that's also my responsibility, and also my responsibility to help the communities. Like, it's like I want to be able to leave a legacy where I can look back and say, hey, at least I did my part, right? So I feel like in that everything I do is like create that legacy, and hopefully that legacy continues and also inspire other people who were same as me like 20 years ago, right? Too, yeah. What I also think, because especially like so like Somali culture, like before people have the educations, like used to be like oral communication. I mean, everything's about people not writing their stories or telling them how even they have the opportunity to tell their story. So to me, it's like having the magazine, having also be able to do the untold stories for us to tell our own stories, and keep that the digital print to our stories is really important to me, because we can just say, it's especially like, we can say this is how much we're doing, but if we don't create the awareness aspect of it, it's not really, our work is not going to be relevant maybe 10 years from now, right? So 10 years from now, we can, maybe it will become relevant, so different reason, right? Too, so we want to keep that really moving forward, to have that digital people telling their own story, owning their own stories firsthand. So we appreciate to help us to capture all that beauty and everything you do as well too, and help us with the festival, because with the festival now people know because of live streaming for the festival for the last 2 years and this year, and moving forward every year too, and hopefully we can create more stories and capture everything we do more moving forward together.
Nice.
Yes.
Well,
So good thing is actually with the festival will be another one that, whether they're a sponsor, whether they advertise through their magazines, with the having the thrift store will be a good way to either donate or even come on tea, even if they have a business background or employment program a background, they can come and help with our volunteers to be able to, or even if they work at the banks, anywhere any skills that will be really relevant to, will be useful for our clients that who come, some of them come refugee camps. So they never even work, or they, so many things new to them. So little, even simple thing we take it for granted, it will be really mean so much for them. So yeah, it's not on, and even volunteer at the festival. So anything we do, we always would like to make a community involved, and we welcome everybody to be involved, because I feel like it's all our responsibility to welcome our newcomers and welcome to where we can all work together and contribute each other and live peaceful and harmony. So the festival is where we have like we do have fashion show, so with different culture or different fashion show with either African backgrounds. Clothes or culture with African clothes, and people who also sew their own clothes to be able to showcase it as well too. We also do this year the theme is the feel the rhythm. So about through the instruments or through the drums or instruments, so bringing the African drums, indigenous drums, Caribbean drums, and having really all about the music, the food. And I feel like the not a lot of people that actually can afford to go to Edmonton or Calgary. So here, bring it right there, Central Alberta, that everybody be able to go. It's free events. We have a lot of events for the activities for the kids too. So it's a weekend. It's like all like come and celebrate and share with the food, with fashion, with friendship, and meet somebody new and see. Every year we bring a different talented and see what the talent within our communities you may too. Yeah. Based on like we do our stats because we don't do membership, but we do based on each program how many people come through. Yes, yeah, definitely. So yeah, I think I will say maybe 5,000 or more people. Yes, yeah, yeah. And then also the festival too. We have like first year 5,000. Last year was like 6,000. So yeah, we're hoping to reach 10,000 this year as well too. Yeah, and that's not even include throughout the events what we do to be able attending the other events too. And that's those all events are free and open to the community as well too. Yeah.
I'm Carolyn Johnson, the mayor's wife of Red Deer, and I'm here to congratulate Zainab on her new venture. Zainab is an amazing community builder here in Red Deer, and she's opened this store to help the new immigrants. She's made it available so she can help them welcome to Canada and become part of our wonderful country, our beautiful city, and she's just opened her heart and her doors to them all. Welcome to all of our new citizens, and thank you, Zainab.
I'm here today to celebrate the grand opening of ACCoCA's Thrift store. So United Way was a proud project-funded partner. Zainab said to help get this up and running, but that's not the case. I think Zainab could do anything without any money, any resources, it appears. So we're just so proud to be here and support all the initiatives that African Caribbean Center of Central Alberta are up to at all times. All of our communities need places to gather, need places to celebrate, need places to go in, feel safe, ask for support, get feedback, and it's absolutely just a wonderful, wonderful initiative. Red Deer is a small town. We're over 100,000, but we operate very rurally still. So rural communities need places like this even more importantly than the larger cities. It's more than a store. And I think for all the initiatives that ACCoCA are doing, just like it's more than a coffee shop, it's a place to feel like you belong. So I think that that's center to everything that Zainab and the organization is doing here in Central Alberta is giving places for people to feel connected. And at the same time, that exposure to, from that retail aspect. So folks get experience, they get confidence built in a place that they feel comfortable in. And it's that kickstart ability to then grow and flourish, whether folks are looking for employment or whether they're looking for just feeling confident being out and about because they know they have support system here. So those support systems are just vital, and the work that's being done here in these ways are just so important. There's so much opportunity. It's not just a thrift store. The ability that folks have to grow, to hone skills, to feel confident in roles that might be new for them, but to gain that experience in a way that they feel there's a support system and a network and people cheering them on is just fantastic and so needed. Come on down, visit the thrift store. I bought my jacket for my next awards celebration today. So, hey, I mean, that's a bonus, right? Um, Donate to the thrift store. Check out the coffee shop. Make friends. And, there's so much. Zainab always has something going on. So, especially in the darkest time of the year, but also in the summer, like, there's nothing greater than checking something out, finding something new, being part of community. Um, yeah, I just encourage everybody to come on down and support. There's so many ways to do so, and little ways count just as much as big ways.
My name is Diane Weinches. I'm currently a city councillor for the city of Red Deer. I'm here because Zainab has asked me to talk about community and connections and stories. Everyone has a story in our community, and when we walk down our streets, sometimes in our society today we're quick to judge, but the value of understanding, connecting, learning from someone, learning their story, I think really speaks well about building our community. One of the things that I think that brings people together is always music, food, and fellowship. And I can speak highly of the African community and what they've done for our downtown festival. The music, bringing together people and also meeting new people and hearing and learning their stories, the challenges they faced, the challenges they may currently face coming to a new country, a new community. Anybody can experience that when you have a new family challenges, but it's knowing that you have a larger community to support you. And I think learning from each other and connecting each other. We're always growing and learning as individuals. And I think about Zainab when she first came to this country, to this city, and she shared with me some of her personal stories and how I've seen her grow as a community citizen and what she's giving back to community. And so when I think about that, it's indicative, I think, of a lot of community citizens when we have experiences. I can speak to my own experience as a city councillor. Before I became a city councillor, I worked downtown. I worked in the city, or I went to Calgary and Edmonton. But when you become a city councillor, you realize the diversity and the hubs of interest and the important nuggets in our community, whether it's a business that's open, whether it's somebody that's just opening a business, where it's somebody going to work, somebody who's new to the city, who doesn't understand, but seeing the importance of community coming together in the connections. I also think about the African community and how they're creating a group of people that want to volunteer, to donate, to give back. Today we had the opening of the store. I've been privileged, we all have an abundance in our community to give back and to donate or to come in here and purchase more for our household. So I think that it's all about giving back. And that's one of the things that Red Deer is really good at, is we have a can-do attitude. Zainab and the African community, whether it's here or her restaurant, have been indicative of that. So bravo to her.
I am the president of ACCoCA, and so when Zainab asked me that, like, if I'm interested to be on their board, I really felt honored because I've always been working with immigrant families and people who come from different backgrounds, refugees, and those people who come to Canada and they try and struggle to get into the community. So I have been thinking that it will be a wonderful opportunity to help people who come from Africa and Caribbean who kind of struggle so much, and they have seen all kinds of challenges in their life, and mostly how the slavery was, and there are so many stories that I have heard about the Africa. and people moving from Africa to Caribbean, and they're forced to move there, and then they need visa to go back to Africa, which sounds very stressful for the people who live in Caribbean. And at the same time, there are so many positive things about Africa and Caribbean as well. Like, they have their rich culture, dance, food, and every music. So, like, I was thinking, okay, if I'm coming to this organization on the board as a president, then I'll get an opportunity to bring that vibrant culture to life and help these families to grow in the community and be as much as involved in the things what happens in the community, where most of the time it doesn't happen, right? So, and also I own Montessori preschools and childcare in Red Deer and Sylvan Lake. So through my business, I could give opportunities to the parents to bring their children to our Montessori schools. And even there, like, we have diverse teachers who are working with us, and children from all the community, where they learn about what is diversity and what is belonging. And when they go to school, they're already prepared here in the early age, right? So yeah, that is my intention of joining ACCoCA. People who come from different countries, like me being an immigrant, right? Like, I have faced like similar problems when I came here. I have my PhD in healthcare management. And so, like, even my graduation, like my degree was recognized in Canada, but still I wasn't able to find a job. So the people who come from different countries, especially from Africa, I have seen that there is a lot of racism going on. And when I talk to people who come to the organization, they say, they cannot find the job easily. They cannot, they don't feel confident to talk to the people, to raise the conversation and stuff, right? So that was very heart touching for me. And like, that is my kind of mission right now, to work and bring that belonging. End of the day, we are all humans. That is what matters. What Zainab is doing is amazing. Like the festival, the African festival, like that is a very good program that is organized by ACCoCA. And like, I would like to say, as many people can join this celebration, would be everybody will know what Africa is, like what their culture is, and it is beautiful to see everybody coming together. And world is getting smaller.
My name is Maureen J. I have kids, three girls, and one day one of them was playing with flour, or was trying to cook food, and she was playing with flour and was like asking questions, how do you do this, curious and playing around. Then I thought, why not put this in books? Maybe one day she'll look at it and be like, oh, okay, we can learn this from mom and this and that. I write children's books it's a series. I have a series called Adventures of Mama. Now there's Christmas in Kenya and Gardening in the City. So both of them are a series. The Gardening in the City one is the one that we launched recently, and it's teaching kids about gardening and planting seeds and taking care of them and know where they can get their food. Yes, and the Christmas in Kenya one is just pretty much, as the title says, Christmas in Kenya. So how Kenyans celebrate Christmas. So it goes through the traveling, because most of Kenyans, they travel from the city, go to the village. So in the story, Mama is explaining how they used to celebrate Christmas, which Mama is me, how we used to celebrate Christmas and what we used to do. The only difference from Canada and Kenya is the snow is missing, but the vibe is still the same. There's music, there's food, there's different kinds of activities going on. I haven't seen a lot of diverse authors out there, so I said, maybe let me jump the gun and see how it's going to go. And this is how it's going so far. It's good. It's really good. So far in Red Deer, you can find them on Indigo. They're Indigo, the store. They are available in Amazon, and they're available at Zainab's Coffee House. And there's, I'm forgetting there's other stores. There's Audrey's in Edmonton as well. So, and Amazon, like I mentioned before, yes. Today, I am here to actually maybe say thank you to Zainab, because at the Afro-Caribbean Center of Central Alberta, Zainab is the queen of the show there. And she does pretty much a lot. She is bringing the community together and building a circle where everybody can feel at home. Once you come into the ACCoCA building, you feel like you're at home for sure. So Zainab teaches us and shows us you can do this. She motivates us to keep going. And I just like the vibe that Zainab is portraying in the community. By bringing the community together, it doesn't matter what background you are in, Zainab is always ready to give you a heads up and hold your hand and take you to higher places. Today they're launching a new place, a thrift store in the ACCoCA building, which is fabulous because now she's also teaching kids how to learn learn how to work in the industry, like cashier, being a cashier, being that's going to teach the kids about what is this word I'm looking for? Customer relations, how you can talk to customers. So her opening the thrift store and employing the little kids, I don't think they're employed, but her opening the thrift store and having the little kids work in here, it's a motivation for the kids to see that I can do this. So when they grow up, they'll be motivated to either start their own store or work for big companies as well. The book release, Adventures of Mama, Gardening in the City. I did a book reading for actually both of them here, the Christmas in Kenya and now Gardening in the City. But I'll talk more about the Gardening in the City one because there's an activity in the book. The kids get to plant a seed and take it home and take care of it. So we had kids, almost over 15 to 20 kids that came for the book launch, and they were so excited to plant these little beans. So we planted beans in the pot and they had to spray it, and they were so excited to spray the little pots and put the names, the labels on the containers, and they were excited to take it home. So that actually brought joy to me, and to see them just to see them hands-on with the soil and getting dirty with their hands and planting the seed showed that they can really do it, and they can know where it will teach them where food really comes from. And it's not as hard as people think that only food comes from the store. You can plant food anywhere, in the garden, in a little spot, in your backyard, even in the balcony, in little pots. You can plant some food and actually grow it and eat it. This year, we're looking forward to be at the festival, which I believe is going to be in August. It's going to be a fantastic time. I will bring my books there, Adventures of Mama, Christmas in Kenya, and Gardening in the City, and some of the Swahili books that I've written as well. I've written Swahili books, basic learning Swahili, like numbers in Swahili, fruits in Swahili, stuff like that. It's illustrations easy for kids to go through. So it's a kids book, but I'm welcome to adults to learn as well, because everybody would love to learn a new language. So you're welcome to purchase my books anywhere they're available. Indigo has them, and Amazon as well. Yes, for my books, I see what sets them apart from other books is the value that it creates in kids as well. It creates life skills like children can learn, such as creativity, time management, problem solving, and communication, just to name a few. So the books also teaches kids a bit of life skills for them.